All right, here we are in the darkroom, and I'm going to go through the process of actually developing your image that will be on your paper. Okay, this will be used for anytime you want to bring out your image on the paper, for the pinhole camera, and also when after you print your images from your negatives, okay, onto the paper. You're going to go through this process. It's going to be the same for all of them, okay, to produce your image onto the photo paper, okay. So these are our chemicals, okay, that we're going to use to develop our images. Okay, we have our developer, which is our first process. Okay, so you're going to take your newly printed image. So in regards to your pinhole camera, after you take your image out of the camera, okay, you're going to go through this process. The first chemical is the developer. Okay, we're going to place this image in the developer, and using these tongs, we can kind of move around and shift the paper. You can lift up the corner of the tray here to kind of slosh the chemicals around the image. We don't want to just leave it laying in there because the chemicals kind of get used and become stagnant, so we want fresh chemical constantly being washed over your image. Okay. Over here on the wall we have some little indicators. These are glow in the dark. It says developer 1 minute. So as soon as you put that in, you're going to start timing. Up here on the wall I have a clock. So I'm going to time that for 1 minute. Okay. Slashing that around. Once I am done, I'm going to use these tongs only to pick up my image and let it drip a little bit, and then I'm going to place it or drop it into the stop bath. Okay. These tongs should not touch this chemical. Okay. These are only for here. It's very important. We don't want to cross-contaminate, okay, these chemicals. So then I replace the tongs here, and then I use these tongs to swirl this one around, and this is our stop bath. Okay, our developer brings out the image. Our stop bath stops the development so we don't overdevelop. Okay, so this chemical will stop what the developer was doing. Okay, and this will be in here for 30 seconds. Just sloshing around. Then we're going to pick up with these tongs and drop it into this bath, which is our fixer. Okay, what our fix does is it fixes the image onto the paper so it does not change anymore. Okay, this will be in here for 2 minutes. And again, I'm using separate tongs for each one. Very important that you do that. Okay, so I would slosh around in there for 2 minutes. Once that time is up, we're going to take it out of here and drop it into this sink and turn on the water. And we're going to let the water wash over our image for a minimum of 3 minutes. Okay, so we can just let this water run. Why we do a minimum of 3 minutes is that we want to make sure we get all the chemicals off there. If we don't wash it effectively or with enough time, what happens is later down the road, a month, 2 months, something like that, the image will start to brown, and it'll actually change and not look very good. So we want to keep our images crisp. Okay? So that is why we rinse for a minimum of 3 minutes. You can just leave the water running in here, okay, while you work on either developing another one or setting up your pinhole camera again or whatever you might be doing. Be mindful that there is a hole in the bottom of this tray, okay, that it'll let the tray fill up, but it also drains. We want to make sure that our paper doesn't cover that tray for too long or cover that hole for too long, otherwise it will overflow. Okay, so make sure you're keeping track of this and kind of watching it. Okay, once we're done with our rinse, I have these little green things over here, little cutting boards. We're going to lay that on there, and we're going to squeegee off the water, okay, and try and get some of that water off. Okay. Then we're going to hang it up for it to dry. Okay, you'll probably want to leave it overnight and come get it the next day. Okay, and make sure you do. We want to be kind of consistent with making sure we take down our images so that we don't fill up this whole area. It gets a little bit crowded in there. Okay, so that is how you develop your paper. You're going to do the same process anytime you want to develop, whether it be your own photo that you took, or the image from the pinhole camera, or a photogram, anything like that. You can go through the same process for each of those.